Shabbat Shalom, welcome everybody. This Shabbat on Parashat Balak, which talks about that evil prophet that wanted to curse the Jews and God didn't let him. I wanted to deviate a little bit and talk about the Haftorah instead of talking, because this is really such a precious and my all-time favorite Haftorah, and it's a lot of times the Haftorahs are so rich and full of meaning. We look over them. So this week's Haftorah is by the great prophet Micha. And the last line of the Haftarah is so crucial and full of meaning. I said it would be a travesty not to talk about it. Because the Talmud says the Torah is very complicated and very there's so many different details. There's 613 commandments. But the Talmud in the end of the Gemara, Makot, Tractate Makot, says that the prophet Micha said you can encapsulate and summarize the Torah into 3 facets, which is the last verse of this week's Haftarah. So please, a lot of people space out during the Haftarah, but this Haftarah is really the backbone, and you can encapsulate the entire Torah just based on the last verse of this Haftarah. And the great prophet Micha gives us a message from the Almighty Lord. He says, Higid lecha Adam, ma tov u'ma Hashem Elokecha doresh mimcha. God says, oh man, what is goodness? And what does God demand and require of us? What does God seek of us? Ki'im asot mishpat. The entire Torah could be encapsulated and summarized in justice. Seek justice for all. Be fair. Va'ahavat chesed. Do loving kindness. V'hasne lechet im Hashem Elokecha. And walk modestly with God. Which means to not show off, to be modest, is the third backbone. And the Talmud in the end of Makot elaborates to explain to us. It says, what does it mean to seek justice? We have to not pervert. If you are a judge or a rabbi or an elder and people come to you to settle a problem, you must never take shochad, bribery, or show undue favoritism, but be just, be fair. Ahavat chesed, do loving kindness. Ze gimulut chasadim. And the Chafetz Chaim says, you know, sometimes people ask us for a favor and beg us for a favor. That's not what it's talking about here. The second backbone of the Torah is that we should love to do kindness. Not that somebody has to twist our arm and force us and beg us, but any opportunity, we should use our sixth sense, our fifth sense, and use our intuition. If we see somebody where we should be obsessed with helping others to make their life better, we should take the initiative. Not that people have to beg us, but we should do it with love and with happiness, because that's ultimately what the practical word of God means. The Torah is not just fluffy, abstract. The Torah is practically putting your time and effort to help other people. And the last one that we must never forget, which is going to lead me to a short idea on the Parasha, it says, Hasne lechet, walk with God modestly. Don't be a show-off. And the Gemara explains, Zo hutzat hamet v'achsnasat kala, which means when You want to have a public event. Even when you want to go to a funeral, it shouldn't be too fancy, or a wedding shouldn't be too fancy. We must always see God has endowed each one of us with tremendous, special, unique assets. But to show off and make other people feel inferior because we say, oh, I'm much wealthier or stronger or smarter than you. The Torah demands of us that please, especially in the summer where people, they act immodestly, they don't wear appropriately their clothing. God demands of us, not only physically, but whichever blessing God has endowed with us, let's share it with others, which is loving kindness, but let's not show it off to others. Because just like God is a hidden being, you know, we buy clothing, it says made in America or made in France. God created this beautiful world, and He could have written all over it, made by God. But God, like we read in the Zohar, is a very mysterious and hidden being. So even if you do the greatest of mitzvot and action, or you have the greatest wealth, the greatness of mankind is to focus on others and don't show off. So may Hashem help us. Just like it says, Hen am lebadad yishkon u'v'goyim nitchashev. The Torah, Bil'am, when he saw the Jews, he said the Jews are a very unique nation. So may God help us embrace these three fundamental things: to seek justice, do loving kindness, and be modest. And may in that merit Mashiach come.